They say love is a beautiful thing, but sometimes science has a say. And yes, I am talking about genotypes and relationships. How one tiny medical detail can influence relationships, marriage decisions, and even cause heartbreaks. Hi, my name is Uche Namadi, and you're welcome to the HealthWise Show. Today, we will be talking genotypes and relationships, and I'm not going to be doing this alone. With me here are my amazing co-hosts, Dr. Lani Yoweye, who is going to be talking from the medical angle, and Patsy Mokunga, who is your regular Nigerian that just wants straight talks on health-related issues. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and follow SYNLAB Nigeria on YouTube and on Spotify. Right about now, we'll be hearing our esteemed guest who has a story to tell. And after she's done, we will come back and we'll tackle the story. Thank you.
Story of my life. How do I go? I built my relationship based on vibes and assumptions. Met this amazing looking, handsome man. Relationship was built brick by brick, life. We had too many dates, the hangouts, the trips, even while we were students in school. From second year to final year was a wonderful relationship. Though we had times where we fight, fights in relationship are normal because it makes the two to tangle more. And then I was looking forward to a happy ending, just like everyone who is in a relationship will always look forward to one. I actually thought it's going to happen. I'm sorry I'm being emotional because, it didn't get to happen. I just wish I did the right thing at the right time. But then again, when exactly is the right time for us to check? He asked me out and we just started dating. And then, all women and how we love relationship. We had the talks, the good times, the bad times. But then we never discussed about ourselves. The few times he asked me, what's your genotype? Based on the vibes that my parents already told me, when you were giving birth to, yeah, AA. I agreed on the assumption that I am AA. Getting to the university again, we're all asked to do the medical checkup. I believed the results in as much as I didn't ask for an evidence. There was no documentation. They told me I was AA. But unfortunately, down the line, the story changed. It changed so much in a way that it affected me both emotionally and mentally. Yeah, years after the relationship was going on a flower date one of those days, he knelt on a knee to say, marry me. My friends were all there. We screamed, and I said, oh, yeah, I'm there. We're going to have to spend together forever. But did it happen? No, it didn't. Because what we're supposed to do at the initial times, we're using it to go for ice cream dates, cinema dates, hangouts, and all of that. Unfortunately, we already fixed our dates for the wedding. Families met, introduction happened, the priest cancelled us, and we're looking forward to the D-Day. Trust me, I like events. And so, because of that, I called my friends, went to the market, shared Ashebi. We already did the pre-marital wedding photo shoots, printed cards even, paid some vendors, and just for me to get served breakfast on a cold morning. And so the priest called us up and said that part of the requirements for the wedding is that we need to do a health check. And part of what he listed that was compulsory was the genotype test. And I'm like, that cannot stop anything. We never wished for what the results would be because, based on vibes, and our parents said we're all AA in our house. And so we walked down to one of the medical laboratory facility close by, And they took our blood sample and promised that we'll get our results a day to the wedding, because the priest said that we must present that before we walk down the aisle. And so, on that cold morning, the results came in a day to the wedding. The both of us saw the unusual. We got the unexpected shock in our lives. We were both AS. I was thinking a miracle could happen. I actually wished and prayed for one, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. The priest called and said the wedding cannot hold because of our genotypes. We both loved each other, but then we wouldn't want to get into marriage, which is a lifetime stuff with having to deal with children with SS, which is going to be a consequence of the marriage. My parents were not even going to give a go-ahead based on such genotype. And so, that's how I was served a cold breakfast that morning. I felt like drowning. I felt like giving up life. But then, that gets me thinking, at what point should genotype be checked? At what point should be documentations be asked? Is it at the point of saying I love you, or what exactly? I kept looking for who to blame. I don't know if I should blame my parents for saying they were both AAs. I don't know who exactly to pass the blame to. But the wedding never happened. We both walked our separate ways. Yeah, lessons learned. But then again, at what point exactly should we check our genotype? At the point of birth or at the point of love? At the point of ice cream dates or at the point of cinema dates? At the point of I love you, talk your own? Or at what point exactly? For me, I actually think it's necessary we go on a date with the genotype result to say, hello, I am AS. And then even if you think you've checked before, how sure are you're with the right results? Because, in the university, they actually told me I am AA. And based on that, I thought I was AA till the unthinkable happened. Yes, the vendors, some of them couldn't refund the money, the food were taken out and shared to some other persons. But then, I'm still trying to heal emotionally. And so, I don't know. But I think genotype should really be discussed by parents and not just be discussed. They should check, and there should be a form of documentation. Because if only I didn't believe my parents, if only maybe as an adult I checked, I wouldn't have seen myself in such a situation. Because imagine after investing emotionally in a relationship, only to be cut short by genotype.
Wow. Sad story indeed. Patsy, I'm curious to hear what you have to say. But first of all, I feel like all these parents that will come and be telling you your genotype is AA, they all need to be arrested.
No, not necessarily.
Because, yes, did you hear what she said?
Yeah, but you know that I don't think that's
Your
necessary.
parents
though.
are supposed to be
Of course, they will not be arrested.
like
Like, you know what I mean.
They're your stewards. They're the first
but-
people to tell you everything about
Sister,
yourself.
what proof did they have to be telling? They told us she was
You know what?
AA.
The
And
thing
she came
is-
out not being AA at
They
the end
did a
of the
test,
day.
They did
so
a
it's
te-
the lab you should blame.
Frankly,
Not them.
and
I'm
like,
coming to those people. You were saying something.
it happens. I mean, that story is very, very, very sad. Like very sad. I'm trying to imagine if it was me. And look
Yeah,
at
they
how
serve
close
breakfast.
it was to the wedding.
To the wedding.
And you know, it's one thing for the person you love to like break up with you because they don't want to do, and it's another thing for it not to work out. Like both of you want it to work out, but then there's
External
this
factors.
Yeah, that's
external
the most
factors. So
painful part
it's
of
really,
it.
really painful.
So I have a problem with the testing being done a day to the wedding.
Well, considering the fact that you have, they both genuinely thought they were AA. Do you get? I think if there was some form of doubt, they would have felt the need to do it earlier. And yes, there was an external factor. Like they said, it was the church. I believe that yes, maybe the church should have initiated
yeah, I
it
think
earlier.
it's-
If I was a priest, that 3 months that you're coming for counseling, the first thing you're coming with to me will be your genotype results.
exactly my
But when it
thoughts,
comes
exactly
to the
my
impact
thoughts.
of it, they were already in love. They were already ready to marry.
See, love is blind there.
No, my
But
point
walking
is
stick there.
no. My point is 3 months to the wedding, a day to the wedding.
No, there's a difference in my
3
opinion.
months, you never pay for hall.
No,
Fair
no, yeah.
Fair enough.
Because
I mean, fair enough.
what she said, they done photo shoots,
They had done everything now.
and everything.
Keisha
So I
was
mean,
booked.
3 months would have actually allowed them sufficient time
Yeah,
to
to heal from the
come to
breakup
terms
and not
with
to
the
even
whole-
proceed.
You understand?
I feel like the testing came too
Very
soon
early.
to the
Yes,
wedding
it
day,
was
and I
too
don't.
close to the wedding date.
Okay, so
more people should test earlier.
yeah, and she kept
Exactly.
asking, at what point should genotypes be checked?
We were talking about this before, and I personally think that as a person, this is 2026. You don't have an excuse to, as a grown adult not to know your genotype.
Preach.
You know, go get tested, and it should like, babe. Hi, my name is Patty Mukunga and I'm AS. And do you understand? Like,
So it should
What
be part
is
of
going
the
on
starter
here?
pack.
That's not your bio.
don't let it get too far.
Introductory greeting.
Don't let it get too
Hi,
far.
my name is Lucia and I'm
That's
don't let it
too
get too far.
dramatic. That's
But you
too
get my
dramatic.
point.
Oh
It should be.
my
I think it should be a part of the preliminary, especially if you
Yeah.
know you are maybe like a carrier of the sickle cell gene or AS or your sickle cell. I have had somebody who had sickle cell like tell me very early on into our talking that like what's your genotype? Then I found it very strange. But I think that it should be part of, especially if you know. Because sometimes you know that it's not friendship. You know what you are here for.
Yeah.
So early on, it's not a disease. So there's no negative stigma attached to it like that per se.
Let me
So
even-
it's
No,
not like
actually-
you have some sickness that you're afraid maybe they won't take me. It's just
No, I actually think
genotype.
it's
Say it
it's
quickly.
the mindset, you know. A whole lot of times people don't actually think testing for your genotype is something that you take seriously. And so that's why
serious
you
for me.
know
They have never been around a sickle cell
Exactly.
patient.
It's
So-
serious. I will come to that because I have seen. It's serious for me. In fact, I played a fast one on my husband because
You didn't take me.
no, I did what? What did you,
You
say?
didn't tell him.
Oh, no, I'm AA. He's
Okay.
AA, but he came with I'm also
Lucky
AA.
ones.
When he now said, I'm not feeling well, I want to go and test for malaria and typhoid. I was like, don't you think you should just check? Me,
Genotype.
we had not married then. Now we're still.
Oh,
I said, just go and check. Just add it. And that's how, when he finished and the result was like, I was actually checking you out. So that
But you see how proactive she was.
Well,
about
you know
it.
why?
For me, most people
honestly,
need to be.
Do you know why? Sorry. I am a medical laboratory scientist.
So you know.
I served in Kwara State. They do not have, a lot of them in the rural areas are not well, how do I put it, enlightened. I have had to donate blood while being on duty for sickle cell babies. And some of them don't make it. So I have seen them in crisis. It is not funny. So
Yeah.
I cannot play with genotype. Knowing what I know now. Let's even say our grandmothers, our grandfathers, they didn't know. They were not aware.
You're too aware.
But we
to
are
take-
aware.
No, I actually think you're actually talking from the point of people who are aware.
Yeah.
There are really not many people out there who actually know that it's
Yeah, I
one of
think
the
I
things
take
they
that for
should,
granted.
they should know. Now, for me, I have educated parents, and they told me as early as I could remember that I was AA. And of course, my story was not that, that sad, as this person's. I think I got to know a little earlier. We had not even done introduction and stuff like that. But then it was just one day my mom just told me and said, "Oh, Nee, go do your genotype." We had finished praying in the morning, and then she was like, "Go and do it." And I was like, you guys did it now. And I was so sure. You even told me the laboratory where you did it from. She gave me a name. So I was like, okay, you said you did it in this so laboratory. Why should I do it? She said she just felt that you needed to repeat it. And I did. And lo and behold, was yes. And I'd lived all my life thinking. So sometimes again, it's very you can't just put it down to one specific factor, in my own opinion.
Yeah.
Now, there are parents who do it very early for their children, and of course they mean well, but somehow they don't get the right kind of results. You understand? And so these things happen a whole lot of times. So, and again, I also feel that you guys know, because you are privileged to know, you understand. But there are people out there who don't actually think it's very, very important to know your genotype. As long as the most important thing to us in this part of, and I keep saying it all the time, is we've prayed, and then the pastor told us, or God said, this is the person you would marry, and then the next thing is God has said it. So we don't really think.
I believe it.
I think you're
even
even underestimating the role that emotions play in relationships, because the fact is, once you are in that headspace, where you are in love,
You're out.
bro, what do they want to tell you?
Oh,
again?
wow.
I agree.
No, it's true.
I agree. I agree.
We're heavily underestimating how, up in the clouds your head goes when you really love
in
a
this
person.
stratosphere.
You don't want to, because a lot of people get to the point where they're already in love. Even if they find out that both of them are AS,
they will go ahead
to tell them again, because
let me digress a bit. When you said that they even told you the lab that ran the test, labs. I beg you all.
let me slide.
Sorry,
no.
please, before you slide in, because I know that there are labs that still use cellulose acetate paper to run genotypes, and that one is based on the competency level of the scientist running it. Because I can stand from the other side and tell you is migrating this way, it is AA, and that person can. So those of us, the scientists, you know what we're talking about.
It's so qualitative.
There is a method, the HPLC method, that actually quantifies the different variants of the hemoglobin.
Yes.
That test you can run in SYNLAB Nigeria.
Yeah.
You take that test anywhere or that result anywhere, your result is the same.
Yeah.
Nobody is using any trees buffer to pour and then place and wait for 30 minutes for it to migrate. You're sending in the sample. It is coming out with your electrophoregram. The graph, the peaks are well defined.
Yeah.
With what's that thing you call it? Retention
time.
Yes. Please. Because these are the things that our parents did. And they thought they were helping us by... Well, they're actually helping us, but they didn't know.
And I think this is why we're seeing
a
lot of, and this is something I want to say, that I've come across a lot of cases where people are like, I thought I was I was AA all my life. I'm one of those stories. He's one of those stories.
Yeah. You may have just run a test in a lab.
The problem, I was so convinced, because I remember going to get tested with my mom and my sibling. Like, we all went to get tested, and everybody came out as AA, and we lived with this our entire lives.
The deception.
We were so sure.
Oh, wow.
Like, we were so sure.
Genuine
God.
deception.
The innocent deception.
And there's some things that even should add on this thing. Should I say myths that carry, I think, Doctor, you must have heard of this, where they say AA patients are like malaria.
Resistant to malaria.
They are prone to malaria.
Because even when we found out in my family that there's AS in here, everybody was like, not you, because you used to fall sick now. Like you used to have malaria.
So malaria is
You
like
know.
that, the benchmark
Yeah.
for
So they're like,
predicting
you
whether
every day-
someone is AA
You
or...
have malaria all the time,
Very
so it can't be you. And turns out it can't be you. It was me. So there's that, because people have gone to labs. You may think that we are now telling people go to labs. People are going to labs and they are getting AA. Meanwhile, they are not AA.
That's why I'm talking about this HPLC. It is very important that the hemoglobin variants are quantified.
Exactly.
So
I mean, the keyword there is just quantification.
So you know that, right? As
Whatever.
a lab scientist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, to the average person, somebody like me, I don't even know the difference between all these things you're saying. I just know that I need to walk into a lab and get a result. So how would the average person know that their result is, good?
So for me, I would say, like, if you go to the labs where you use the acetate paper, they just give you it's either the interpretation straight up, AA, AS. Most times they may not even be able to pick out the AGs.
ACs,
yes.
ADs.
It is
Yes.
most
Yeah.
people don't even know there's AG.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now a typical result
Should
from SYNLAB Nigeria, I can say, because I have seen and I have used.
I have done too.
Exactly. The variants come out with values.
Yes.
And that is what we are looking for. That is what lets you know where you are.
Okay, so
No.
we're telling the
Okay.
average person to look out for a result that comes out with variants, with value.
It is easier.
With
Let me allow
values.
Dr.
No.
Ware to take this home. But it is easier. The quantitative, the more it's quantitative, the better.
Okay.
The most commonly used method is, actually very limited in its ability to detect hemoglobin variants.
Okay.
Now, the only normal hemoglobin is hemoglobin A. Every other type is a variant. And there are lots of variants, hundreds of variants.
For real?
Yeah, hundreds of variants. There's a library of variants. So now, the traditional method, permit me to use that word, that we have in the country, most labs employ in the country, they are very limited, and as she rightly described, they are like qualitative methods. So a lot depends on the experience of the person, doing it, and then the skills, the on the bench skills of the person. And then, of course, the method itself, the methodology, even if the person is very experienced, the methodology itself is very limited in its ability to
there's
detect.
so many variables
Exactly. So now, what I would basically say is this. So that the common person out there, permit me to use that word, would understand what we are trying to say is, just always try to get a second opinion, especially when, whatever your hemoglobin, result is, always try to get a second opinion. And then the more specific methodology would quantify with percentages. You would see that. So if
Like
you look at,
A,
exactly.
X%.
Yeah. So if you look at our results, that you get at SYNLAB, you would see hemoglobin A. There's a percentage to it.
And you
S,
would
a
see the
percentage.
standard
Yeah.
too.
So
The range.
Yeah, basically. So that's a more specific because it not only detects, also quantifies it. So for me, these are the things that you should actually look out for on the result.
quantification.
So quantification
It's
is
very big.
Let's not do science too much. I want to hear from Patsy. Patsy, do you think that love should allow to flow even after people have found out that they are not compatible in their genotype?
I think that people should be realistic with themselves. No, because when it comes to this whole genotype thing, I think the thing is now about having children, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
What if they don't want to have children? If they don't want to have children, go forth and
For me-
prosper. Do you understand? Like, and some people, this is something we should discuss. In biology, somewhere in that secondary school place, they will teach you and draw lines.
Secondary school place.
Mendelian
They will
cross.
say AS and AS, your first two children.
That's
will be-
probability.
No.
That's not the order.
Yes, that's what I want you people as medical professionals to address, because some people genuinely believe that that's the order,
order.
which it will happen. So, and I've seen people say, we'll marry we are AS, we'll marry our
We'll
first,
just
we'll
born
just
first
born
two.
two.
What if that one, the first one now comes with the SS?
They don't know that
It's
that's
probability,
Yeah,
guys.
it's actually
It's
a 50-50
probability.
thing.
It's
Yes,
not
it
the
is.
order.
So some people don't know that you can marry and all your children will come out as SS.
Yes. You're
You
quite
get-
right. Absolutely right.
So,
Now,
and I think right now there are options. There's this video that has been going viral. I don't know if any of you saw it, talking about the fact that now there is a solution to sickle cell, and I think it still boils down to the bone marrow transplant.
no,
Okay.
that's for somebody who has the disease already.
Okay.
Oh yes. I just can't go
No,
to say,
but there are people who would now marry based on the fact
On that
that
solution.
our
And
and
children
then you now
can
want to do a
have
bone marrow transplant.
bone
No,
marrow
I was actually
transplant.
going to say this that about love. I personally do not believe that love should be stopped. My opinion is my opinion. Yes, because there are options. Yes,
Okay.
yes, there are options.
my-
what you said,
and
there
well,
are
let's-
options.
Let's hear his option
there are-
because
enough.
Dr.
I
Love
do
is
agree.
talking.
There are
Okay,
options.
okay.
Now, if it's you just allow people to make informed decisions.
Yes, I
they are
think informed
adults.
Please, I want to
So
hear these
unlike,
options.
okay, you're AS, you cannot marry. I actually just think that that's not
not
good enough. That's not.
But the
Okay.
problem with the options available,
But your
insofar as I know,
my duty
is that none of them, except you don't want to have kids,
No.
all of them are for rich people.
Wait,
that's
let
what I'm
him
saying.
come from the doctor
my
angle
duty
first.
as a doctor is to tell you the options.
Give us the
I'm not going
options,
to.
please.
I'm not in
going
a
to-
position to decide what to do for
Fair
you.
enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one, you could actually decide to do IVF. Pre-implantation genetic testing
For rich
before
people.
that. Yeah, for rich people, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
option
So you can actually decide, well, rich is a relative term. You understand?
Okay.
Love
Relative
climbs
to
all the
me,
mountains in
bro.
the world. Yeah. Love can climb mountains.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Motivated.
you know. So, but then, jokes apart, my duties when I counsel patients, I tell them all the options. One is to prevent, and you always say prevention is better than cure.
Prevent what?
So prevention is
Okay,
your
not
AS, so
proceeding.
not proceeding.
Okay.
But
Me, I
then
was
that's
thinking
your
of prevention
decision.
in terms of not having children.
Then number two, no, that's prevention. Now the others are like curative medicine after death, in my opinion. So now you can do IVF with pre-implantation genetic testing where the sorry, I would use a scientific term now. The gametes, the egg and the sperm are carefully selected in the laboratory. So you are going to select a non-S, from both parties, and then you mix both in the laboratory,
Sounds
and
like
then you
heaven.
plant in the mother.
It's
So,
working for
yeah,
people.
people do it.
Oh, wow.
Then, of course, there's another option.
Okay.
It's called prenatal diagnosis, which, of course, we do that also at SYNLAB. We actually offer, prenatal testing. You understand?
So while the
Yeah,
baby is
well, the baby is in the womb. You decide to, and you can actually get that checked as early as 10 weeks. And it's very non-invasive. So you can actually the mother goes into the laboratory, and then the mother's blood is collected, and then you detect the fetal DNA in the mother's blood, and you analyze. So after analysis, when it comes out that the baby coming is going to be a sickler, then of course you can decide to
an elective
exactly.
termination.
So, but then, of course, we know that's not, abortion is not legal in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's also an option, which, of course, I'm very sure people would have also attempted, that too. Then another option is adoption.
Okay.
You can actually decide to adopt kids.
That's
Then, of course, like you said, you can decide not to. You can just be marriage of companionship. I
You
was
can decide not to what?
have kids.
And your mother will now come from the
Oh,
village.
You didn't
Hello,
want to talk. Even
hello.
when he talked about adoption, I was about to say, like, I'm a person who is very all for adoption, but it's not very culturally accepted in Nigeria.
But it's your life. I was actually counseling a patient just last week, and then who had sickle cell disease, and I think his partner also is AS. He has sickle beta thalassemia, and the partner is AS. Of course, that it's very, very. And then he told me that he does not even want to have kids, anyways. That it's only the partner that is a bit worried about it, and he has told her several, because I think she also has a coexisting fibroids or something. So even before she got to know the particular genotype situation, she had been trying to have babies, but she's not been able to have babies because of the fibroids. So and then he had kept telling her that, let's go adopt. There are so many children out there who actually need homes. And, the person is a Nigerian and he's an Igbo man.
Wow.
So basically, it's a personal.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So there are options. I mean, that's my opinion. So
That's
my
impressive.
duty is just to tell you the options, and then and sometimes I'll have patients ask me that, okay, doctor, what would you do? Oh, well, it has happened to me before, and what I
we
do,
ask you what you.
what I would do. It has happened.
That's a trap.
No, it's not a trap. It has happened to me before.
Yes,
and I called it off.
Well, some people are trying to wedge their opinion on you. Do you understand? They want
I get you.
They'll now say it's Dr. Ware that told me.
There's always a disclaimer before that.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
You think
basically,
people used to hear disclaimer in this? Kind
people will do what they want to
selective hearing
do.
will lift up.
People will do what they want to do. People,
I think that's actually very key. People will do what they want.
Just to digress a little bit, someone has a cancer, a very bad cancer. You have counseled them properly. That okay, you need to start chemo. You need to do this particular test, and they will still go to prayer mountains. Yeah. So basically, but just do your own bit.
But doctor, real talk, I feel like people who know they are not compatible genotype wise and still proceed to get married and give birth are selfish.
Oh,
because you need to see what these kids are passing through.
I have been around I think 3 or 4 sickle cell patients in my lifetime.
Funny.
It's not funny. And I think one of the worst parts of being around the sickle cell patient is just the helplessness.
Yeah.
They're in so much pain. And they're in so much excruciating pain.
And then in
there is
2026,
nothing you can do about
you
it.
think that you can go and carry your faith and love and move mountains.
You know what?
And burn somebody and punish the person.
It's a very valid point that you guys
can't
made.
undermine
Very, very valid point. And I could remember that
I don't like that.
a lot of times when I counsel patients, I tell them that because I have been around C class too, and I always tell them this, that okay, now you guys go ahead and you get married, fine, your decision, but how would you react if some years down the line your child, maybe one of your children, or maybe even more than one is a sickler, and he or she now asks and says, Daddy, why am I not like other children? Why can't I play like other children? Why am I always being limited? Why, and when those questions keep coming, how would you feel, at that particular point in time? So these are some of what you just mentioned is very valid.
If a person
very
has
valid.
not necessarily been around it personally, I think there's a tendency to look at the situation through rose-tinted glasses where you're like, it can't be that bad. Some people, have you heard of people who be like, it can't be that bad, we'll handle it when we get there. They really genuinely
cross the bridge when you get there.
And they think their love is strong enough.
So let me ask you,
cross that bridge.
Having heard the story from our guest, she called it off.
Yeah.
With the whole ashwebi, the catering and everything. Do you think she was being emotionally cowardly?
No.
Or she was being realistic?
I think, like we said, handling these things will be on a case-by-case basis. And in her case, right, how can you calling off a wedding at the dying moment emotional cowardice? If anything, it's bravery.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are depending on you at that moment. You're sitting down, family has expectations, you have expectations, your heart is involved, you have spent a lot of money, and a lot of us will make decisions based on finances. Like, you look at how much you spent, and you're just like, I'm not...
We go there.
Do you get? So, a person who at that point chooses to call a wedding off, and this is not on a whim, this is because of something very important. I think that's some form of bravery, right? I
agree.
It takes a lot of emotions to stand in front of all of that expectation on you and say, I'm not doing it again. I'm standing behind my decision.
I agree with
right?
that.
So, like I said, it's a case-by-case basis. And in her case, you have to look at it and be realistic with yourself. Will my family even agree? And sometimes you're making it, family might even tell you, let's do it, we've come so far. When you have those children, it's going to be you and your husband and that child alone most of the time in the situation, right? Do you people have the emotional capacity to, hold each other's hands through those kind of tough situations? Things like having sickle cell children, these things threaten marriages because it would
Bricks
put your
marriages.
marriage
Bricks
under a lot of
marriages.
Um,
Has a
pressure,
potential
right?
to break
So
marriages.
I'm guessing she must have had
Thought
the
of the
presence of
whole-
mind to look at all of that, and that's impressive that you can do that as a person. Most people go through with marriages they shouldn't have gone through with just because everything's already done. How can I pull out of it
Yeah.
now? Right. So I think in this
So for
specific
you, it's
situation,
bravery.
it was quite
Yeah,
brave.
it is.
It was quite
Dr.
a
Ware,
brave
what do you
decision.
have to add?
No, I actually agree. With all
That
she
she was
said.
brave.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Do you
Well-
hold a different opinion?
Oh no, I don't. I don't. I think we have said a lot about this, and I'm actually happy that we've put out some messages out there for people to use. You know, they say love is powerful, but love alone is not a medical
It's not
plan.
enough.
You need to have a holistic view. So, guys, I feel like knowing your genotype early will prevent, permit me to say, nonsense. Because yes, or let me say, it will prevent stress in the future.
I think that's the key. Just know it's the
Stress.
end.
Yes.
Yes.
Please
darling.
ensure that your genotype is compatible. Pity your generation. I beg. Pity your
I think
generation,
pity
please.
your own heart.
Pity
Pity
yourself.
yourself. Pity yourself.
Pity your partner.
Sadly, we have
Pity
come
the
to
child.
the end of this beautiful discussion, and I'm glad our guests and our listeners have learned one or two. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and follow SYNLAB Nigeria on YouTube and on Spotify. Thank you, Patsy. Thank you, Dr. Ware, for your
Most welcome.
contributions.
Thank
My
you.
name is Uche Namadi, and I'm signing off.